Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07. Today we are playing Rakdos Saga brew. I had various Rakdos brews already on my channel playing Waste Not, Orcish Bowmasters and a Burning Inquiry, and this is definitely among best ones yet. This brew is working very well in the current metagame, having cards like Urza Saga against scam decks is great. Urza Saga just beats those decks very easily. Having one of Stone of Erech as a tutor target, especially good. Immediately in the mid game can really be a great value in the game one. Okay, so but having Orcish Bowmaster and Sheoldred means you also have good tools to fight all the beans decks and access to powerful single spells like Urza Saga, Ragavan, Bowmaster, the One Ring, good removals and discard, and cheap interaction in the main and in the sideboard means you have a good game against most decks and always have a chance of winning in different matchups, various. Okay, so what do we have here? Ragavan is better now than it was like 2 months ago, and it's very powerful card. Orcish Bowmaster, another powerful creature, and Sheoldred. So we got three maybe most powerful creatures at the moment in the same deck, and they are all very utilized and doing very good in this brew. Okay, Urza Saga already, as I said, I feel like it's very good right now against a lot of like Yawgmoth decks finding the Needle, the Stone of Erech, and at the same time creating large constructs. Really hard to deal with. Gives you a good game against a scam. If you can find a Shadowspear, you can raise most decks, Murktide decks, scam, whatever. Okay, so what else do we have here? So basically 5 artifacts in the main, more in the sideboard, all most of them tutor targets for Urza Saga. Some removals like bolts and fatal pushes, terminate, but also we got Underworld Breach. I think Breach is also very well positioned right now. Those Omnat decks really have hard time dealing with turn 5 or turn 6 Breach into triple quadruple bolt. That is like very good play, and thanks to the Burning Inquiry this deck doesn't necessarily need DRC to fill the graveyard effectively, and the Burning Inquiry helps in that manner a lot, but also like all the spells are cheap and the fetches and all interaction you have make you like really fill the graveyard well. And of course if you have Bowmasters on the field and cast a Breach, and every Inquiry you cast from your graveyard is also 3 damage. I don't have in this build a way to go infinite with this, like Birgi can go infinite, but I don't think it's necessary. And okay, so we have plan A, we have plan B, we have plan C, and even plan D in this deck. So first plan is Urza Saga, second plan is just opponent winning with good creatures like Ragavan, Orcish Bowmaster, Sheoldred. Second plan is Burning Inquiry, synergizing with Waste Not, Bowmaster and Sheoldred. The One Ring plus Sheoldred, and the fourth plan is like Breach for the kill. So a lot of stuff going on here, and I think it's very synergistic and very well performing. Okay, so on the sideboard we have a Pithing Needle, explosives, more graveyard hate, some land hate, artifact hate, Fable and Tourach. Tourach is great against those leyline decks. They mostly have like Solitude, leyline, but don't have that many other ways to deal with it. Of course some play like 3 Fury, but they have to draw it, and often Tourach in this deck can go larger than 4 toughness very quickly. Okay, so and my let's say flex slots in this sideboard, Runeflare Trap. I'm currently trying different stuff in the sideboard of this build, but Runeflare Trap is like interesting at the moment. because this ring and beans deck can really draw a lot, but also the Runeflare Trap is triggered with the Burning Inquiry, so even if they don't draw 3 cards, you can still activate this trap just by casting Burning Inquiry. It automatically activates it. It's old tech that was previously used in some Burning Inquiry sideboards. So that's it. Fable, also another card on the sideboard that is good in especially in the scam matchup, but also some other that don't have a good ways of dealing with Fable. Fable can be good additional threat. And that's it. I felt like I don't need any more specific sideboard hate, so I got some extra slots in this, so I'm able to put the Fable on the side and the Runeflare Trap as my flex slot, as I already said. So that is it. Let's go check the gameplay. Okay, so I played a couple of leagues, going 8-2 total. And this one was really close to trophying, and it was interesting, so let's go through it and see how it went. Okay, so turn 1 Ragavan, pretty good hand. I have Urza Saga, Burning Inquiry, Waste Not, Thoughtseize, Terminate. Opponent is on Hammer Time, so this means I'm able to go for Waste Not and plus Thoughtseize, discarding the closest hammer and getting the draw a card from the Thoughtseize. That's like really neat in this build. Okay, so I go for Burning Inquiry. Opponent casts Surge of Salvation in response. So at this point they only had a Pure Steel Paladin and a Mary in their hand. I got some Waste Not triggers, getting me some zombie token and creatures on the field. Okay, so at this point now I had 1 ring and 2 Waste Nots on the field, and kind of 1 ring guarantees me to draw another Burning Inquiry, which is just incredibly powerful at this point, but also it's almost an overkill. Because I have so much stuff like Fatal Push or Terminate, another 1 ring, and Urza Saga on the field, the Pyrite Spellbomb, so much stuff here. Okay, so opponent, I decide to use my Pyrite Spellbomb and just go for Urza Saga activation to get those constructs on the field, so I can start killing my opponent. Yeah, so I decided to get rid of the giver and just go for don't even make a constructs. I had other ways to kill my opponent right now, so I can just draw a bunch of cards, play a couple of Bowmasters and Burning Inquiries. Yeah, so I played another ring this turn and the Bowmasters, put another body on the field, giving me protection from their possible top deck at this point. I had only a single Fatal Push. Okay, so now I have another Bowmasters and Inquiry and Fatal Push, so now seems as a good time to go for Inquiry and finish this game. Yeah, of course this is another possibility. I mean, kind of overkill, but it doesn't hurt me, so I just went for the attacks, play another ring and save Bowmaster, third Bowmasters plus Inquiry for next turn. Opponent actually had Forge Anew, but it really doesn't matter right now, so going for that third Bowmaster, and with Inquiry in hand, this is 9 damage plus 6 Waste Not triggers. So went for the Fatal Push first, then Inquiry, doing like whole bunch of triggers, and my opponent concedes the game. That is it, I think. Yeah. Okay, so even draw the 4th Bowmasters. Okay, so opponent concedes, and let's check out the game 2. Again, decent hand. Ragavan, Thoughtseize, Pithing Needle. I start off with Ragavan, see the giver with the Mishra Bauble on top of their deck, drawing me another Thoughteize. So opponent decides not to trade with Ragavan. So I go again similar to last game. I go for turn 2 Waste Not plus Thoughtseize, discarding Pure Steel Paladin, but opponent top decks Sigarda Aid from the top and play the Stoneforge Mystic, getting them Colossus Hammer. So I play another Thoughtseize, discard the Hammer, draw another card, opponent trades with Giver. And yeah, so now at this point I didn't have a mana open for a Fatal Push. Opponent goes for a Shadowspear, and this puts me in a kind of problematic situation, because I have push, but I'm now on 3 life. So opponent just a single card in their hand. I make a construct and go for the Fatal Push. And yeah, so now basically a top deck war again. I'm in a pretty decent situation, going for another Fatal Push and a Bauble with Underworld Breach, tapping out completely. But opponent top decks with 0 cards in hand, they top deck Colossus Hammer with Import Nexus and Sigarda Aid on the field, and yeah, that is like very good draws for the opponent, and that is the lethal. Okay, so let's check out the game 3. They kind of got lucky there with just 1 card in their hand, but yeah, that is a thing Hammer can do sometimes. Okay, so now playing first, and again having turn 1 Ragavan into turn 2 Thoughtseize. So I go for the Thoughtseize, discarding the Stoneforge Mystic. Opponent had a double Paladin hand and a Surge of Salvation. They decide to trade here, and my problem right now was I didn't have a land. Really wanted that land, but at least I played that Thoughtseize, so got rid of Surge, and right now opponent had Pure Steel Paladin, two lands and unknown card in their hand at the moment. I got that land I needed, so yeah. I shocked in the Blood Crypt to play another Bowmaster, holding Fatal Push. Opponent plays Needle, naming Bloodstained Mire. I wanted to kill their construct token with Bowmaster, but they had Needle to grow their token, so that wasn't possible. I play my Needle, and opponent didn't respond with making a construct, so I name Urza Saga. So they weren't able to make the construct, which was like pretty good for me. Opponent goes for Paladin, and before they animate the Nexus, I go for Fatal Push. And luckily they, I know what cards they have in there. They have one mystery card. Luckily that one mystery card wasn't Surge, and I went for Breach and go for Thoughtseize, discarding another Paladin. Right now they only had Horizon Canopy in hand, and yeah, they tried to draw a solution, didn't get it, and that is the game and the match. Okay, so that was it, match 1 against Hammer Time. Let's check out game 2, match 2. Okay, so starting second in a match 2 with a pretty decent hand, double Thoughtseize, Bowmasters push. This is good against most decks. Okay, so I go for Thoughtseize, discarding a Beanstalk. Opponent has double Fire Ice. Double Fire Ice, and that is it. So I discarded the Shardless and the Beanstalk, so that is all they have right now. I waited them to go Ice and then play my Bowmaster, getting another trigger. So now they can't kill my Orc with another Fire Ice they have in their hand. And now seems like a good moment to play my Urza Saga. So opponent is So Bowmaster is a hard threat for them, so they got to deal with it as soon as possible, and they kill it. But I have my Orc army attacking. I have Urza Saga at this point, so I can start creating my construct tokens, and opponent is just on 2 cards in their hand. So I'm in a pretty decent position. My fatal pushes in hand are not really good, but I have another Urza Saga, so hopefully that is all I need right now. And yes, so I go for another Urza Saga and hold my Spellbomb. I don't want to crack it because I want my constructs to be larger. Unfortunately, opponent has a Solitude here, so I definitely wanted to kill it before the blockers phase. Opponent plays the land and has a single card in their hand. So again I go for the attacks. And yeah, opponent shows me the last card in their hand. That was another Solitude. So luckily I draw the Bolt for a turn, so I was able to... these pushes are so useless in this matchup, but I was able to kill at least the Solitude before the blockers phase. And now I have Urza Saga active and they're on 0 cards in the hand, so I would say pretty good position for me. I create more construct tokens and top deck Breach for a turn. I didn't even need a Breach. It was a kind of overkill at this point, but yeah, so Breach got me the kill on the same turn, double bolt for the lethal, and that is game 1. Okay, let's check out the game 2. As I said, the Breach is very good in this matchup, and it can get you a lot of free wins on turn of 5, 6, when you can do like triple bolt or even better. Okay, so mulliganing to 6, keeping double inquiry and Bowmasters plus Urza Saga. This can potentially be like very strong. Okay, so I decide to go for fetch here, not Saga, because my plan was to go for multiple inquiries, and this is one of the most amazing plays I have ever succeeded to do in my life. So opponent done just single damage to them with this Misty Rainforest. I did double damage on their turn with the ATB ability and the Beanstalk. On my turn I started off with the Burning Inquiry for 3 damage, growing my Orc Army token, and I have 3 more Inquiries in hand, so I proceed casting second Inquiry, dealing 3 more damage and getting another land, and I had another Inquiry in my hand, which means I can go for another Blood Crypt and another 3 damage for amazing turn 3 lethal. I think this is one of the most amazing, incredible moments ever. So this is basically 24 damage on turn 3 by single fetch from the opponent and a single Bowmasters with a triple Burning Inquiry plus 1 damage from the Beanstalk. It is so sick. Okay, so that is like this incredible game against 4 color beans. Yeah, so that is the match. Let's check out the match 3. Completely crushed them, both games, but this second one especially was like so crazy. Okay, so starting with the 3 Bowmaster, this can go very wrong very quickly against a lot of decks, because it's either super powerful or sometimes completely useless, but in most situations I would say like super powerful, mostly super powerful. So I go for Ragavan, connect again, opponent plays Mishra Bauble. I decide I'm definitely will want to play the Orcish Bowmaster next turn. I go for the Bowmaster before the Mishra Bauble trigger, so I get another counter and another ping. So next turn I have Urza Saga plus double Bowmaster. That seems pretty good. Opponent plays Asmo and then goes for another cookbook, but before they can make another food, I decide to immediately just bolt it. So now I play the Saga and I go for the Bowmasters before attack to grow my Orc Army token. This way I deal 6 damage, leaving them on 6, and I get their Bowmasters from the top, so this is 4th one, and I try to cast it and opponent immediately concedes. That is the game, so let's check out game 2. They were actually playing like Sultai turns, Asmo turns. Okay, it was briefly a popular deck. Okay, so let's check out the sideboarding plan in this matchup. I forgot it for the previous match. Okay, so I often trim one waste knot. That is a thing you can do. Sometimes if you expect a lot of the graveyard hate, you can trim the breach too. I was on the draw here, and my opponent can be really aggressive on the draw with the combo stuff and Academy Manufacturers. I decided to get rid of the breach. I always trimmed 2 Ragavans against the Bowmasters deck, and since they are Bowmaster deck too, I sometimes trim 1 Inquiry. So that is the logic behind those. When I trim the breach, also always trim the bubble, so I only play, bubble is bad against Bowmaster, I only play a single bubble so I can tutor it when I have breach, so I can draw multiple cards with it. But yeah, so basically when trimming breach, always trimming a bubble too, and that is it. Okay, so I went for the needle here, naming a cookbook. Naming cookbook against them can be extremely good. I put Sheoldred on the field, and in this situation, if I untap with Sheoldred and Burning Inquiry in hand, that is mostly game over, but opponent has removal for it. I go for Bolt on one of the constructs, deal 3 damage and exile their graveyard. They had a lot of useful stuff there, like Overchair's Devil mainly, and yeah, so opponent now has Construct plus Shadowspear, but I have Cast into the Fire plus Bowmaster, which is like perfect to get rid of both of their permanents and attack them, put them on 11 with Explosives and Inquiry in hand. Pretty bad situation for them. So opponent plays Might. I go for Orcish Bowmasters, ping their face, play Explosives on 1 and try to go Burning Inquiry with double Bowmasters on the field. Unfortunately, opponent has the Spell Pierce. If they didn't have Spell Pierce, this is just a completely game over, but I mean, I have a very good board on my side of the field, and opponent is on 10, and I have a lot of damage here, so it's not an easy situation for them. But they have Bowmasters to kill both of my Bowmasters, which was pretty good start for them. Okay, so unfortunately my draws were not great, and yeah, I put them on a 4 life, and now they had Emery on the field, and yes, somehow, not even sure how, they succeeded to stabilize, and now they could start gaining life, and my draws were just completely awful, but it was almost unlosable situation. If someone told me I'm not going to win in like 1 minute ago, I would say like it's crazy, but somehow I was just drawing only lands and played Explosives on 1, and Explosives helped me kill this cookbook, but wasn't really useful. And yes, so now they had again double blockers, and I draw my, I don't know if it's 3rd or 4th land in a row. And yes, so now after a few bad draws, they completely stabilized and gained a lot of life and have the blockers, and still my draws are not getting any better at this point, and yeah, so they got the Bowmasters and M reactive and the cookbook, now also the Bowmasters on their side of field, and that is it. Yeah. Amazingly, I somehow lose this game. And yeah, okay, so let's check out the game 3. Okay, we already saw this sideboarding plan. Nothing changed in the game 3, I think. Okay. Okay, so I decide to go turn 2 Bowmasters into turn 3 Inquiry if possible. Opponent didn't have any mana open, so I was free just to grow, to play the Burning Inquiry, make a 4/4 Overcarmy token, deal 3 damage to face, play the Springleaf Drum and Saga, and pass the turn holding Cast into the Fire and Bolt, which is pretty good for me at the moment. I go for the attacks. Opponent jumps because they're on 7 life right now. I make a construct so I can play Thoughtseize immediately. Opponent hardcasts the Owl Chase Daredevil for the blocks, and I have Fatal Push to kill the Owl Chase and Bolt Face, so it's more than a lethal, and it's another win. Another game, and let's check out the match 4. Okay, so in the match 4, I would say pretty good hand. I was playing against Zoo, and this is not an easy matchup. For the deck, I would say this deck is very well positioned against most of the meta right now, but I think like a Zoo could be among a few harder, because they're very aggressive and I'm kind of depending on drawing my Terminates. If I don't draw the Terminate, I'm kind of in a weird position, and depending on Shadowspear and constructs Urza Saga. Okay, so I played, they had Stubborn Denial for my Inquiry, so I just played the Shadowspear and Stone of Erech, but they put me on 7. I get mana and cast my ring, trying to prolong game for another turn, try to draw like Burning Inquiries, Sheoldred stuff, powerful stuff like that. Opponent fetches and I draw a card with a ring, getting the Terminate. Terminate is a pretty good start for my game plan, but I need more than that. I get a zombie token from their ability. That is kind of useful right now, and also Breach is not bad, but not enough. It is close. If this was push, it would be enough. I try to go for the Burning Inquiry first, because Burning Inquiry can sometimes net me a lot of mana, but they had Binding in response to get rid of the Waste Knot, and this meant they are not discarding lands. I'm not getting the mana with the Waste Knot, and I don't have enough mana at the moment to do anything relevant, so that is the game 1. Okay, so they were too aggressive. Let's check out the game 2. Okay, so I decided to board in 1 Tourach because they play Leyline Binding, and it can grow large with the Burning Inquiry. It's a good synergy with Inquiry, so sometimes Tourach can go large and be your very strong win condition, like you will see in this situation. So I played turn 2 Tourach and then went for turn 3 Burning Inquiry, and I draw another one, so I decide to go for it, and I grow my Tourach to 8/7 on turn 2, plus finding a Shadowspear for next turn. This means I have lethal next turn with the Shadowspear, and this guy has protection for white, and they can't kill it with their burn spells because it's 7 toughness. So it's very hard situation for the opponent. They have the binding to deal with the Shadowspear, but yeah, they need. They have Bowmasters here for jump, but it only nets them couple of turns. I have Pyrite Spellbomb to kill the Ragavan. Okay, so they kill the construct, but it is a pretty decent situation for me. I go for the Pyrite Spellbomb, and I have a Tourach attacking for lethal. Whatever they play, they still have to jump. They go for Tribal Flames phase and jump, and yeah, this was a weird situation. I decided to go for the Thoughtseize, and so just another land in their hand. This was kind of risky because they could top deck Tribal Flames for the kill. But yeah, that is just one top deck, and I could possibly remove something like Territorial Cow from my hand, so I decided to go for it. And I played the Bowmasters, putting them on 3 life. So even they have to block the Tourach, so 2 damage is going through. But I also top deck the Terminate for immediate kill, and that is the game. So let's check out the game 3. Okay, I had double swamp in that first hand, so I decided to mulligan, and mulligan was pretty good here. Cast into the fire, kills the Ragavan, kills their Bowmaster, also kills Scion of Draco and their artifacts like explosives. I connect with Ragavan and exile the Bowmasters from the top. That is like definitely what I want in this matchup. Having Bowmasters with Inquiry in hand can always be pretty powerful. So I go for the attacks, connect for 2 damage, and decide in this situation to just go for the construct tokens. Opponent has their Bowmaster, but I'm fine with this. I have cast into the fire to deal with it if necessary. I can also just cast into the fire, kill the explosives if needed. So I have multiple options here, and I find also Pyrite Spellbomb, which is another solution. I go for the attacks. Opponent bindings my construct, and before damage I decide to get rid of the Bowmasters and deal 1 damage with my Orc army. And yeah, so now I have Waste Not plus Inquiry for the next turn, and I'm kind of they tapped out, so they are not holding explosives at the moment. So I decided while they're tapped just to go for the Bowmasters plus Inquiry, grow my Orc army token, deal 3 damage to face, grow Orc army to 5/5, and this is lethal at the moment. Opponent doesn't have a solution for it, and that is the match. Okay, again another Burning Inquiry Bowmaster kill, and okay, so this is a trophy game, a trophy match against a Cyberpunker. This is a friend from my Discord playing my brew, Zoo Cascade with General Rokirek. Basically, this Cascade targets in this deck are Up the Beanstalk and Territorial Kavu. So playing a Shardless Agent and Bloodbraid Elf as all Cascade Zoo lists play. Yeah, so it's a merge between Cascade Zoo and Beanstalk lists. It's pretty natural for this list. It's basically very close to what I was playing in the past. I just added Beanstalk as another Cascade target next to the Territorial Cowl. Okay, so I went for the Bowmasters on turn 2 and decided to go Ragavan Dash. And my opponent, this is my opponent hand at this point, so they have double Bloodbraid Elf and the Fury, so I definitely wanted to dash Ragavan and not play it. I decided not to cast my opponent Beanstalk. So in a lot of situations, opponent will find the Teferi eventually and then bounce that card that you played with Ragavan Steel. So they decide to go for bounce on my Orc army, which enabled me to immediately kill the Teferi. I had multiple options here, but I decided to go for the One Ring. I played the ring, attack with Bowmaster and passed the turn. I have Sheoldred in my hand, Ragavan, Terminate, Waste Not, pretty good hand. Opponent obviously hardcast that Fury they were holding, and I have a lot of stuff here to do. I decide to go for a Bolt, play the Springleaf Drum and hold Terminate for their turn. I'm expecting them to play the Bloodbraid Elf they have in their hand and to go for a double attack. So they find another Teferi with it. I decide to use my Terminate. They can attack me for 3, pressure me with the ring on the field, put me on a 5 life total, but I have Sheoldred in my hand, which is pretty good. Yeah, so I go for Sheoldred, play the Ragavan and Burning Inquiry. They go for the Solitude, but I waited with the ring to gain 6 in response to the Solitude. So I gain 6 with the Sheoldred and also gain 4 from the Solitude ability, which puts me in the safe zone and kind of just improves my hand slightly. Also like messing my opponent hand, discarding Fury and Territorial Kavu is pretty good. Opponent plays another Kavu and now I have multiple options. I draw more cards with the ring and yeah, I really have a lot of stuff to do now. So I decided to play the safest possible play, not to risk anything, and just go for Terminate on Kavu plus a Bolt on the Bloodbraid Elf and cast Ragavan as a blocker, and that's it. I decided I don't want anything else and I can just outvalue my opponent with 8 cards in my hands. They don't have any beans on the field, and with the Waste Nuts I can go for the Burning Inquiry and try to do the kill or whatever. So I go for the Waste Nut and the Burning Inquiry on my turn, doing 3 Bowmaster abilities, 3 Waste Nut abilities. I can go for another one if needed. Also have 6 mana in my pool if I draw something good. Didn't draw it, but yeah, I got 6 more abilities, putting my opponent down to 1 life. And yeah, they concede. That is it. Okay, so sorry, that was game 1. Let's check out the game 2. Okay, so I decided to mulligan that first hand. I think I maybe could keep that first hand. This way I ended up mulliganing to 5. And it can be kind of rough mulliganing against them. It's hard to deal with Kavu early if I don't draw my Terminates. And yeah, let's see the sideboarding plan. Similar to the last match, I trimmed 1 Waste Nut, I trimmed 1 Thoughtseize because they can be aggressive with the Kavus and I don't want to draw too much of the Thoughtseize. I think in the next game I trimmed another one. Nothing much else. Didn't have too much of sideboarding to do in this matchup. So I had my Waste Nut on the field. I played the Burning Inquiry, but yeah, this is what lost me the trophy. Okay, so sometimes this happens. It is not very often, but sometimes it can happen. and it happened to me this game, very unfortunate. So I cast the Burning Inquiry, discarded Sheoldred, One Ring and Tourach, like completely crazy. Like 3 best cards in my deck, I discarded all 3 and drew 3 lands. Kind of unfortunate, but this was directly lost me the trophy. The bad Burning Inquiry. I mean, you can draw good with it, you can draw bad. Mostly it doesn't matter because you are getting the Waste Note abilities. But at this point, my opponent, I didn't get much value from the Waste Note because my opponent discarded some lands. And yeah, that wasn't very good. And they had double cow on the field, and my hand was not good enough to survive this, and that's it. So if I got this ring, that would be a different game. But this way I lost this and went for the game 3. Into game 3, trying to playing first, so expecting an easier game. Again, starting with turn 1 Ragavan, I have the Inquiry plus the Bowmasters, which can often be very powerful combo. But opponent plays Solitude in their deck, which is sometimes hard for the Bowmasters. But I go for turn 2 Bowmasters plus Inquiry. I do the pings and ping them for 3 face, grow my Orc Army token to 4/4, and I already have like 7 power on the field. But yeah, unfortunately again Inquiry worked against me, discarding 2 Urza Sagas and Underworld Breach. And I was again left in my hand with 2 lands and Ragavan, and all of these 3 cards were useless. So I decided to try to be aggressive and hoping for a top deck. So I went for the attacks with Orc, Bowmaster and Ragavan, hoping to hit something good with it. But now, my attacks were over and I just played the Waste Knot. Opponent has a double removal to get rid of both of my blockers, and they have lethal on the field, and that is it. So lost the trophy match this way, but this, as I said, this was a friend from my Discord playing my bro Cascade Zoo with General Ferrous Rokirek. We didn't actually see the Rokirek in this match, but it is in the deck. You can check the list on my Twitter profile. It will also probably be soon on my channel, maybe next week. And so they played my new list, Cascade Zoo, which I still didn't play too much of it, and have it in plans for the next few days to try it again, give it another spin. And they actually this was a 4th win for them, and after this they played the trophy match and won. So I'm very happy they got a trophy with this Cascade Zoo brew I made, and definitely another reason for me to go for the video on that one, and I hope to do it soon. And that's it. So I lost the trophy, but another brew of mine got the trophy, so I can't be really sad about it. I'm kind of happy he did the trophy with that list. I'm really happy for Cascade Zoo to get the trophy. It's basically a classic Cascade Zoo list, but instead of playing those burn spells, have the Beanstalk instead. And that's it. Okay, so hope you like the list, hope you like both of these lists actually, that Zoo one and this one. I think this is very well positioned deck at the moment. Saga to win you against Scam, Sheoldred, Bowmaster to win you against Beans, and very strong removal and discard suit to have a good game against most of the field. I think this deck doesn't really have a bad matchup among like 5-6 strongest decks in the format right now. So that is it. Thank you for watching. Friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe. Tell me how did this list perform for you? Did you try it in paper? and how do you like this newest version of Waste Not Inquiry Bowmaster build. And that is it. Again, thanks for watching and goodbye.